Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. So today we are looking at IR coefficients or IR signatures. So I've done several videos showing how to defeat IR guided missiles with planes and helicopters, all helicopters. With when you want to beat IR guided missiles is you throttle back. You put flares out, you dodge and whatnot, but you always throttle back. And the reason is that the lower the thrust of our engines, the lower the power output, the lower the throttle, the less IR, the less heat we give off. So the harder time the missile has in seeking us. It's something we've always taken for granted. It's something we've always done. However, you guys have asked, does this actually work in DCS? The IR signature of planes in DCS is very simple. It's just one number, one floating point number that each aircraft gets. And that floating point number is modified by certainly things like aspect. I've tested that, or you've probably all tested that, and you've all noticed that it's much harder to detect a plane from the front than it is from the back. And side on, it's about halfway in between. Okay, you can all test that. You can all jump in a flanker and find that very easily. We also know that each aircraft has a specific IR coefficient to them. So, and you can find that. I've showed you where to find that. It's in the database files. So the F-15 here is about 0.95. The flanker is 1. The flanker is just set at 1. The C-101 out there is about 0.2, something like that. But the question is, does changing the throttle, i.e. low throttle or high throttle or afterburner, actually make a difference to the IR coefficient? And that's what we're going to find out today. So let's look at the test. We are in a Hornet and we've got AIM-9Xs on simply because they're the most advanced heat-seeking missiles in DCS at the moment, so it makes sense to use them. We've got a first test. First, I need to prove to you that aircraft have different coefficients, different IR signatures. We've got an Su-33 here, big, heavy plane with two big Saturn engines, and C-101, lightweight plane, tiny little turbojet engine. So I need to prove to you that this plane is much more easier to detect than this plane here. They're doing exactly the same thing. They're both pottering along at 240 knots at the same altitude. Then we've got the second stage. So let's do that stage first, in fact. Let's just jump in the cockpit. Let's go and show you that. So we're going to unpause. Going to put our Sidewinder on. Okay, so we hover over the Su-33. And we get a tone easily. Now we hover over the C-101 at the same range. Same speed, same everything. We don't get an IR signature. We would have to actually get super close before we got the IR signature. There we go. Okay, so about half the distance, something like that, roughly. It doesn't matter exactly what. That was just my proof of concept. Okay, I'm going to restart now for the second half of the test. So next note, we've got 3 F-15s here, and I'm just going to let them get away a little bit. Okay, we've got F-15 number 1. So these are the same planes, the same engines. Okay, we've got this guy here is pottering along at 200 knots, and he's basically on idle. He's at 60%, 69% throttle, or engine spooled. Basically, that's pretty much idle. I think about 62% is idle, isn't it? So it should be very cold. Next, same guy, same engines, but this guy's at 93%, nearly military power here, and subsequently is going faster, but that's just how it is. And finally, same plane, same engines, max afterburner, max gate, going for max speed. All the same altitude. The only thing that's going to differ is their speed, which shouldn't make any or much difference to the IR signature anyway. So what we're going to do is chase them and see at which range we get a tone in our missile, at what range we get a tone in our missile. And theoretically, if the throttle does make a difference to the IR signature dynamically, we should be able to get a tone on this guy much easier than we can on the guy at the back on military power. On idle power. So let's go and chase them down. I'll find them first. There we go. Right, there's the idle power guy, or the idle power pretty much. Right, so what we're going to have to do is let him get away. This is not going how I expected it. I can still get tone on the slow guy, and I'm now 6 miles away from the slow guy, and he's still there. He's still doing idle power. I get the feeling by the looks of things, that the throttle doesn't make any difference in DCS. That will be a real turn up for the books. If that's true, that will change everything. But I guess let's carry on. I mean, I can see this guy. I can get a tone on this guy at 6 miles. We're definitely not getting a tone on the sun. We're definitely not getting a tone on anything in the background. There is nothing in the background anymore. Still getting a tone. Oh, well, that was a full 50 miles or 70 miles have gone there, and I could get a tone all the way up to about 7 miles. That didn't work very well, so I guess we try it. I'll start further away. What I'm going to do is get the fast guys just out of the picture completely. Almost certain from this that it's just not going to work, and the DCS does not model the throttle in terms of the IR coefficient modification, which is a bit depressing. I am using AI, guys, but I'm certain that if it worked with humans, it should work with AI as well. It would be just a bit crazy if it didn't. So this time I'll start really far back. I'll start 10 miles back and work my way in. Might be a bit easier. Because what we could do is actually get a radar lock on this guy. It might make it a little bit easier. Okay, I got a radar lock on him now. Oh wow, I got a tone at 10 miles. What the hell? Still got a tone, 11 miles? What the hell? So, oh, I can't even get a radar lock now, it's so far away. This just doesn't work. For some reason, this... Maybe the seeker head's just too... sensitive for this test. Maybe we need a worse seeker head. Right, you know what? I thought the Hornet would be a good test because it's modern. It turns out it's a bad idea. Let's go old school. Let's go F15. Let's just take a couple of sidewinders here. Look, that'll do. Well, we've got mic versions. Go and run this test again from scratch. Okay, this is more like it. No tone. So at which point do we get tone? I don't think those sidewinders are... Well, I don't know. What do I know? This appears to work. I don't think those AIM-9Xs are working. Just doesn't feel like they're working properly to me. Okay, right. That's a bit more sensible. Look, we've got 3.54 miles for the guy who's got just basically idle power. I'm going to redo the reset the test up now. Make sure they're not in front of each other. 4 miles or so. Let's go back a bit. Right, so these guys, if DCS has them modeled properly, should be seeing them at a different... They'll be able to get their IR signature contrast at a different range. So I'm going to go bing, I'm going to go bing. Okay, let's find them. Just got to work out which is which. So the guy on the right is middle power, the guy on the left is full burn. So let's go. Right, we got him finally. Let's see what range. Please don't be 3.5 miles. It would be so disappointing. Oh, it's actually a little bit... Okay, that's not too bad. It's a tiny bit more distance we can get it. It was 3.54. This is 3.77. So that's good. That's restored my faith a bit. Although it's a tiny difference. It's like fractional difference. So we'll try it with afterburner on now. Let's catch this afterburner dude up. Right, please make a big difference. I might as well lock him up with a radar, I suppose. Oh, I can't lock him up at the moment. Oh, stop. Isn't that funny? We got a radar lock at the same time as a IR lock. That's a bit coincidental. Anyway, right, that appeared to work beautifully. Look at that. Yes! We got the guy at 6.35 miles. 3.5 miles with afterburner on. This is going swimmingly. Now I did use a radar lock, so I'm just going to quickly check that that it wasn't the radar lock that had the effect. So I'm going to let me see what I'm going to do. Come over here, turn my radar off, move away, slow down. See if we can just get that back just by charging back at him. Oh, this doesn't look good. Look, it's not going to pick him up. Look. So I somehow got extra locking range from having a radar lock on him. I don't know why that was, but no, this is going to be very disappointing. Appears to be bugged. I think that's just bugged, look. How far away are we? No, not sure. Oh, fuck's sake. That was a lot of use. Try again from scratch. Pain in the arse this test is. For some reason it can get a lock much further out when it's got radar lock. I don't see how that could be possible. Maybe it can focus its eye. Well, no, it's passive. It shouldn't make any difference. Right, let's just go again. Keep trying. Oh, stop. Right, I've got a ball sight lock there without radar at that range, which is, oh for fuck's sake, exactly the same as mil power, even though there's no way that's right. 3.77 miles. Something ain't right here. Let's double check his full power. 100% throttle. Maybe it does it by throttle percentage. Look, his actual throttle percentage isn't actually that different to this guy, even though obviously it should be much hotter plume. Let us start again and see what the radar range is. Let's see what the range is with radar guidance, or radar addition. This is not looking very good, I'm not going to lie. Right, I guess I better let these guys get away. Okay, so I'm going to get a lock on this guy here, the mil power guy. Oh, that's not a tone, is it? That's not a tone. Let's confirm that by getting closer. Looks like it doesn't have to get a tone with the radar. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Try that again. Let's move us right out here. Kind of 10 miles behind this guy, look. Yeah. It looks like it doesn't have to get an IR tone, because there's no way it can get it at 9.7 miles all of a sudden. Really doesn't make sense to me. So strange. So if we just use ball sight without the radar, the idle power guy we got at 3.54 nautical miles, the mil power guy we got at 3.77 miles, and the full burn we got about 3.77 miles as well, which does not bode very well, if I'm honest, for this actually working. Try changing things. Let's go back to high fidelity model. Why don't we try the Hornet with crap missiles? Is that the way to go? Let's go with L missiles. See what we get now. I'm really not convinced that this works in terms of throttle versus IR signature. Okay, straight on. Idle power guy. Got him. Let me guess, 3.5 miles. Okay, this Lima missile in a Hornet got 1.95 miles at the cold guy. Let's see if we're going to catch this guy up. He's at 500 and we're at 5 miles. I'm not sure I'm actually going to catch this guy up, but let's try it. Oh, it works, it works. No, it doesn't. Got a tone. Have I? I haven't. What the hell's going on? There's no tone. That's not working, is it? We're like right on his arse. Tone's gone completely. Oh, fucking this video game. Seriously. Right, let's try again. Right, well the fucking tone's just broken, or I can't hear anything now for some reason. Weapons are at max. I don't know, what do you make of that? The fucking... it just doesn't give any tone anymore. Oh, kill me. Wagner, for fuck's sake. Alright. Start again. Try this guy again. Oh, yeah, this guy works, look. Does the Lima missile just not lock onto fast targets? Is that what we're going to see here? That's a tone. That's a tone right there, right? Okay, it's unbugged itself. Kinda, sorta. The thing is, how far range can it go? So we've got to back off the range here. That guy's going to be in the way now, so I need to come from the left slightly. So 4 miles now. We go down to the left down here. Let's see if we've got a tone. No tone, no tone. Right, speed up. Fuck. Ah, bollocks. I didn't do that well enough, really, did I? Out of interest. What is it? It's 1.95 miles, exactly the same as that guy there. Let's back off and see when it disappears, shall we? Stop. Well, that was a struggle, but okay, we got him at 2.14. Now, this is interesting because it's only a tiny fraction above, again, what the AIM-9 mic got in the F-15. So all we've got to do now, and this is long and exhaustive, all we've got to do now is try and get a tone on that afterburner guy, and then I think we've got enough data to work with to make a decision. Can a slick Hornet catch up with a loaded F-15? Probably not. But go, little Hornet, go! Stretch it. Oh, we've got him already. So all we've got to do now is see when it disappears. But I should have been doing this all along. I'm a dickhead. I really am a dickhead, aren't I? Stop. Right. At least we know how to do the test now. 8.78 miles. Wow. That's clearly what it is. Weird results, man. Let's just see if we can. What happens if we go over here? Right. Okay. We've got some results that make sense. You know what? Because this is a much easier way of doing it, we can quickly go and do the F-15 again. Now we know how to do it. So all we've got to do is bonk our man behind these guys. Distance where we know we can get it. Make him an F-15. Give him some missiles, whatever's. Mics, that'll do. Right, let's just try this now. Okay. Let's do that. See what point he disappears. Stop. Last time it was 3.77 miles on this guy. 3.77. This time it is 10.52. I don't know. Boy, am I fed up. 10.52 all of a sudden. I'm not convinced any of this works. 10.52 on this guy. Right, okay. Let's try the afterburning guy. Oh gee. 24 point something something. You could have argued that maybe he got in the way. Even now, no, it couldn't have because he's at 13 now, and we weren't tracking him before. So 24.01. What? None of this makes any sense. I'm not sure I can do this guy kind of getting away because he's going so slow already. I guess we'll give it a quick go. I certainly can't hold it though. It's just impossible to hold. I don't know. I'm pretty fed up, to be honest. I seem to be getting wildly odd results. Nothing seems to make sense to me. I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Try and see what you guys think of this and see how we go forward, because it's not... I thought I was going to see lovely uniform results. Well, let me put up what we've got here. AIM-9X on the Hornet was just too sensitive to do anything with. It was getting over, 13 miles with the guy that was meant to be making no heat. So it was just too big a distances to really do this test with. So then we switched to a F-15... C with mic versions of the missiles, and we did not use a radar lock. For some reason, the radar lock allowed us to get an IR lock, well over 10 miles away. So why would that be? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. But without the radar lock, if we were kind of traveling until we got the IR contrast lock on the missile, then at low power, we picked the guy up at 3.54 nautical miles. Mil power, we picked him up at 3.77 nautical miles. Full afterburner, we picked him up at 3.77 nautical miles. Makes no sense to me at all. None of that seems right, does it? And bearing in mind, at the very beginning, we proved that the heat of that engine, the quantity of that number, that coefficient, I could pick it up. It translates to the range that I can pick that lock up at. So the logic is sound here. The logic is tested at the very beginning. But the results of the actual test just don't show anything particularly correct. So that proves that doesn't really prove that the hostile's engine throttle really makes any difference to his IR signature. So that's rather depressing. Then we went to the F-18 Hornet and we got different results again. We got 1.95 miles for the idle guy, 2.13 miles for the mil power guy, and the afterburner guy would got 8.71 miles. In fact, there's just one more test I think we can do, just to clarify that with a bit more uniformity, is that if we change this back to a Hornet, I know it's a pain in the arse, and oh god, I've only got 3 minutes and I've got to go, but put this back to Limasler. Let's just do the kind of assertive test where we fly at the guy rather than losing the lock. So let's go towards the guy here. See what kind of range we can pick him up at. If we can get this to be 8.78 miles, it'll make me feel a little bit better. Okay. Yes, I can get a track there. In fact, no, sorry, we've already done this test, haven't we? We've already done this test. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, that data doesn't make any sense. With the F-15C doing the tracking, doing the missile tracking with the Mike version, weird results with the Hornet with the L missile. It does kind of make sense. We get a tiny reduction in IR signature if the guy is on low power, and we get a massive increase if he's on afterburner. So that works for the Hornet and the L missile. The X missiles, the ranges are just too high to really test. So we can kind of come out with a summary with this. It does work coming off the end, and this kind of I kind of did expect this a little bit actually. If you adjust the throttle in your aircraft, then your IR signature does seem to change depending on the thing that is tracking you. If it's probably a high fidelity model like the Hornet, it does seem to work more or less. If you're in an F-15, an FC3, it doesn't work. If you're in a combined arms unit, which is pretty much the same as an AI ground control unit, I don't know how to test it. I really don't know how to test it. Kind of trying to be a bit scientific about it. I hate it when I get shit results like this. So it sort of works and it sort of doesn't. Best I've got there. Let me know what you think, and I guess that'll be it. Just going to quickly double check that these work on these guys here. We want repeatability at the end of the day. So what's that, 1.7 miles, something like that again? Yeah, so 1.9 miles, yeah, that's about right. Okay, well that's what it is. Sorry I couldn't be more clear on that, but that's just what the results show in real time. Hope it was sort of useful. See you later.